play.
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself. I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on in, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you.
Oh, so happy.
Just
got out of the team store. That's why I'm happy.
Hey, listen, this is a beautiful day out here, too. We are out here on the corner of 3rd West and South Temple. I don't know if you know where that is. In full view of the Delta Center. Just steps away from the team store. Yes, where JJ and I just walked through to see what the damage was. And my goodness, they have a lot of Mammoth gear still.
Oh, they got everything but the new jerseys. The hoodies are amazing. The hat selection is terrific.
Listen, if we found out anything this year, JJ, you can't just ask for a jersey and get it. All right, it's going to take a minute.
We'll have to be patient for that. But if you want the new gear, come down here until 6 o'clock and come check it out. You won't be disappointed. There's plenty to choose from. It's not one of those deals where there's a line out the corner.
No, it was.
You walk right in and walk right out. They're also giving away a free puck and a towel with any purchase today.
Hey, come down, get a free puck and a towel. All right. Hey, come on. So you got the team store loaded up. You're all sorts of fired up, of course, because look, we haven't been surprised that much by the whole name thing. But I was relatively surprised this morning that it was this morning that all of the stuff hit.
You and I have been speculating. I thought the day of the draft.
Day of the draft.
So do a big thing just like they did today.
Right.
You do it on draft day, and then you have a draft party so everybody can come in for the draft. And now with the 4th pick, that's going to be fun.
Yes.
It's a lot more exciting and fun than it was going to be before.
Maybe they wanted to focus on that on draft night. Hey, I didn't.
But you know what?
I think it's also the worst kept secret.
Not a complaint. And
no,
you're right.
It was the worst kept secret in sports.
Cat got out of the bag a little bit. Let's say.
And so what ended up happening was I think that they were like, look, we don't want to draw this thing out even more than we have to. We already know what's going on. Everybody else feels like they know what's going on. I'm excited about it. Look, in terms of how things roll out, initially, and there are going to be some people who are upset about it. We know a guy who has come by all of our broadcasts, and JJ, he had an Outlaws hat made specifically for him. You remember that whole thing? He had an Outlaws hat made, and you know how you could just get stuff
maybe he can
made.
wear that when we get a Major League Baseball team in 2031.
Why not? So he rolled up with the full Outlaws, and he goes, yeah, and the last time we saw him, he's like, yeah, I know where we're going with this thing, but guess what? I'm okay with it. The Utah Mammoth, it's official. You've got yourself the Mammoth gear is now available. You've got everybody excited about this thing. And for the most part, I think it's it was well received today. You had a press conference. You had the NHL commissioner. I think he's quite busy these days. And so for him to dip into Utah for a minute, I don't know if it was
during
like
the playoffs.
Yeah. Do you think he was just driving through from Vegas on his way back out east?
Had a connecting flight back home.
Oh,
sure.
He's flying. Oh, that's cool. I thought maybe he was just driving up from Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Stayed in St. George last night. Got like a head start. By the way,
he's like John Madden. He's got his own bus.
By the way, how about the Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights last night? The Golden Knights go up 2-0, and it's the first time they've relinquished a multi-goal lead at home in their franchise history. Which, of course, isn't extensive.
7 years.
But they have been in the playoffs quite often.
Yes,
of course, they've got a Stanley Cup to their name. So and I think it was like 17 times since 2020 or 2021 that they've had multi-goal leads at home, that they have not given one up. And last night, 4 straight by the Oilers. It was kind of weird, too, because there were 6 minutes left, I think, when they scored that 3-2.
Yeah.
And then immediately scored right after that again. And we're watching it, and we're going, ooh, the Knights are not looking good here. And the fans start streaming towards the exits. It's funny how it is. You pay all this money to go to a game, and as soon as your team's losing, you're like, I hate this. I'm out of here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you paid. You don't want to watch your team lose anymore when you have a couple minutes left. So,
by the way, the Oilers have had come from behind victories in 5 straight games. That's an NHL playoff record. It's never been done. 5 straight games they've come from behind to win.
it's a pretty interesting go here at the playoffs. And once the second round gets reset, you remember Edmonton went down 2-0 early in that last series against the Kings, and then of course rattled off 4 wins in a row. They did the same thing last night with goals with the Vegas Knights, down a couple of goals. They score 4 in a row, and you've got yourself NHL playoffs that are fascinating. And again, by the way, would we have been this detailed or known this much going on with the NHL playoffs had there not been an NHL team here? We'd know what was going on in the playoffs.
Yeah, we passively
follow
it. I've always enjoyed the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I love watching it. Playoff games in the
but
in the NHL,
it's different now.
It is very different, and so I think it's a big deal. It's awesome to watch. We've got tons going on here, and across all of the major sports websites and outlets and media, anybody. One of the big stories, of course, is that Utah has itself officially a mascot for its hockey team. It is a mammoth. I will say it's not a mammoth. It's mammoth, just the mammoth. So that's plural. That's singular. That's plural. That's all of it wrapped up in one, right? Is that where?
Sure.
I haven't gotten an AP style guide yet on.
I think it's cool. I don't really care. I love Mammoth. I think they nailed the branding. I love the look. This is going to be not only popular here in Utah, but I think hockey fans around the country are going to be interested in getting some of this gear. It looks nice.
Let's make the show official here by kicking it off by telling you that our program is brought to you by G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. Give it a shot today. Costco, Holiday Oil, Maverick, Associated Foods, and many other places in the refrigerated section. The best protein bar around. Let's kick things off officially with the cut. Let's get right to it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And, of course, the cut this hour brought to you by the good folks at Trajan Wealth, TRAJAN Wealth.com. Trajan Wealth for all your trusted local needs in retirement, 801-899-7600, or their website, TrajanWealth.com. All right, let's start it off here. Let's listen to the big players who were at this one, and let's kick things off first with Ryan Smith, who made it official. They rolled this one out, standing next to Ashley Smith, of course, who also had a few moments at the podium. Let's start off first with Ryan Smith as they introduced the Utah Mammoth. And, of course, the commissioner, Gary Bettman, was in the house, and we also got to hear from him. Here's what Ryan Smith said about the announcement.
I think for Ash and I, honestly, I don't know that you can choose your passions and all of them in life. Some of them find you, and for us, and they can really kind of turn into part of your life's mission. And for us, that's, if I look over the last 5 years and even before, it's really been Utah and building Utah, along with, as I look out, many of the other people here where their life's mission's really been building Utah. And we live in such an amazing state, an amazing place. And part of that building process is both internal and external. And from an internal standpoint, it's all the work that we're doing in bringing our Utahns together. It's building infrastructure around here. And there's a lot of people in Utah that are working on that. And it's humbling to be a part of that. And sports really magnifies that and brings that together. There's an external component as well, which I think is very much one of kind of what is that Utah experience? What is it for people who haven't experienced what we think is so amazing in this state and what makes it so unique? And if I think about the last 13 months, we've had a chance to kind of show a new audience, a new world, an entirely new community, like how we roll. And I think we were, what has it been, 54 weeks since we sat down, Gary, and I don't know how many more of these press conferences we're going to have together, but it seems like we're kind of towards the end of this. But
no, we can keep going.
Yeah, we will. When we etch Utah Mammoth and Lord Stanley's Cup, that'll be a good one. But I think if I look back 54 weeks ago, we did a deal on a handshake. because we didn't have signed documents. You trusted, and I've always heard trust is the ultimate currency. You trusted our community. You trusted our leaders, and you trusted our fan base that we wouldn't have an arena issue. And I'm looking at Mayor Wilson, Mayor Mendenhall, Governor, Speaker, like you did what you said you were going to do, and our commitment to you. You trusted that we could get a practice facility built. You trusted that we could play in 6 months. You trusted very begrudgingly that we were going to turn our identity over to the entire state of Utah to vote on this, which at multiple points, including the final one where we said we were going to actually show logos to people, I could see you and Brian's eyes go, you are not going to do this. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And, you know, with nearly 1 million people opining on creative design, which seems like an absolute disaster, you said, all right, we're going to roll with this. And so I think, first of all, thank you so much for trusting our community in Utah, because that is something that I'll never forget. And I think if there's something that we hope came out of the way we roll in Utah, it's that we do what we say we're going to do. But there's one thing that we haven't really had to trust. It's something that we knew, and those in Utah know it, that Utah shows up. And I think Utah has shown up at every single part of this process. And so, look, we couldn't be more excited. We're humbled from Ash and I. This is our mission to continue to help build. These marks are representation, and they will be iconic out in the world for those who have never experienced us. There's Easter eggs about Utah buried in all of them, if you can see that. And Tuss Up is really a rallying cry. I mean, it's already been used by over 10,000 different times, and it's going to be how we're known. And this whole thing's come together, but this entire identity has been chosen by our community. And I don't think people thought we would actually go for it, but we did, and we landed in the spot that we're pretty excited about, and we know that the community wanted because they chose it. And that's what this whole experience is about.
Ryan Smith, owner of the Utah Mammoth. You heard it right. I'm not sure how much I love Tusks Up. At some point I might come around on it, but you know, there's always a little bit of again, the branding and all the things that have to go with it, and they had to turn this thing around, but I think the logo ended up being really freaking cool.
Yeah.
And I thought all the different versions of the logo ended up being really cool.
Good things happen to good people, and luck and skill and execution and vision and passion have always been on your agenda, and it's great to see good things happen to good people, and the two of you and this entire community. As I sit here, I'm having a bit of a deja vu moment in a good way, because every time I come here, and it's now been at least 3 times in the last 54 weeks, we're celebrating, and celebrations are fun. It's what makes life great. Although I will say, following the two of you speaking, it's hard to equal your level of passion and energy. So I'll have to raise my game. First of all, thank you to the governor, to the mayors, to the members of the legislature at every level. This has been the total team effort. And yes, we trusted all of you, particularly you two, but you had to trust us. And we did an awful lot on a handshake. But to think in 54 weeks, we did a transaction largely on a handshake that nobody had ever done before, that you figured out how to get the team up and running in a matter of weeks, not really a lot of months, that you got a practice facility on a temporary basis set up and then figured out how to start building a permanent one, that, and we took a tour a little while ago, what you're doing to this arena and what you're ultimately going to be doing to this whole downtown area is nothing short of transformative and generational. You have the ability, both of you, to have incredible vision, to motivate people, and to execute beyond anybody's expectations. There's a quote, and I think it was Thomas Edison, but I'm not 100% sure, that says, vision without execution is nothing more than a hallucination. While watching all this, I feel like I'm hallucinating. You are executing beyond our wildest imagination. And for that, not only did we trust you, you did more than we ever could have expected, and we're grateful for that. Now, for the community, weighing in on the treatment of a team's identity, yeah, we thought it was crazy. But we do crazy pretty good. Whether or not it's playing outdoor games, which we're going to do next season, 2 of them in Florida, or conducting a lottery where you moved up 10 spots. We'll have one here too. Not to worry, we've already done a site visit. We trusted you to trust the people of this community, as we did with everything that had to be executed, to come up with something that was fabulous. And you both had mentioned it, having 10,000 children already participating in a game that we think not only creates fans, but brings people together as a community, but for young people, gives them life skills, whether it's leadership, teamwork, discipline, education, which is what we believe hockey's values are. And our values and the values in Utah coincide so spectacularly. We're on the same page. So it's not a surprise that the first year has been almost mind-blowing in terms of how successful Utah and you and everybody in SCG has been. This has been the ultimate team effort for the ultimate team sport. And while you may be thrilled to have us, we're thrilled to be part of Utah and are grateful. Everything, you're going to groan with what I'm about to say, but it just popped into my head. Everything you've tried to do and everything you've done has been a mammoth undertaking. Go ahead, you can groan. But at the end of the day, being part of a community and making a difference in the quality of life here and transforming downtown, not just for the next few years, not just for the Olympics, but generationally, is a testament to your vision and everything you and your people accomplished. We are grateful to be here, and congratulations on what we think is a spectacular name, logo, and treatment. It's all good. And when you win the Stanley Cup, I hope I'm still doing this to present it.
There you go. Gary Bettman firing up his thoughts on this whole thing, and it's pretty cool. The commissioner comes by mid-Stanley Cup playoffs, passes through town, goes through, and is a part of the presentation. It's no longer the Utah Hockey Club. I actually have to tell myself that, JJ. Like, honestly, it was a year of us saying the Utah Hockey Club, and now it's not just like a fun pet name to call them the Utah Mammoth. That is what it is now. I mean, I see the big old, oh boy, they worked on that. They worked on that nice puck across the street here at Delta Center. It says Utah Hockey Club all big on it. I guess we're going to have to change that up.
They're going to have to buy a new one? Those are expensive.
By the way, they are handing out pucks that go with the purchase of
That's right.
some new gear.
Free puck and free towel with any purchase today.
And it's got the Utah Mammoth gear on it. So guess what? What I got from all of that, JJ, was like everything else along the way here that has been done. And frankly, you can say the same thing about what the Miller Group is doing, with what SEG is doing. Every undertaking that is a massive investment in the community that is centered around sports. Let's not. It's nice to have the community like, hey, this is a bigger picture thing. It really is. But you don't have this engagement with other things. Sports is unlike anything else, and you're getting so much out of the fact that an NHL team comes here. Obviously, the Jazz and the effect that it's had on this community over the past few decades has been, it goes without saying how big of a deal it is this team is. The idea of, I mean, even when we were out last month at the new ballpark out there in Daybreak, and the idea that Big League Utah, and I'm pointing out by the Power District out here, what an interesting thing that this does. It does bring the community together. I am now I'm friends with people that I definitely would not have been friends with when it comes to you just intersect with people when it comes to this type of thing. And so I don't want to get too dramatic about it, but it's a huge deal for the community for us to be able to get to the spot that we are right now. Imagine where we were even last year at this time. We had just made the announcement a month before about a team coming here, that an NHL team was going to be here, that they're relocating from Arizona. There was the awkwardness. It's a lot less. No one even thinks about that era now. I know the folks from Phoenix and the Valley area down there are resentful of us pretending like, I don't even know if that even existed before. The reality is that it's right here in front of our face. There's an ownership that is committed. There's a fan base that's already been built, and just think about what this building turns into, especially that handful of home games, the last stretch here. That's what this community became in less than a year, and it's phenomenal to watch.
How loud this building was. Imagine adding 6,000 more seats.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen when they're done with this project. And now they have a branding and a name that looks amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That everybody here in this community, whether you love hockey or not, can be proud of. Because these emblems, these logos, represent everybody who lives here. And this team represents you. And it's awesome that they're doing it the right way. It's awesome, that you, the fan, were able to have a say in this and able to choose that. And it's awesome that SEG nailed the look and the feel. Everything looks cool about this. The colors, the logos, all of it is just amazing. I love it. I can't wait to see the team wearing those black jerseys next fall. I can't wait to see the draft when the logo pops up.
Oh, yeah.
All of that is there's so much to look forward to as this franchise continues to grow, and now it's going to grow as the Utah Mammoth.
All right, let's take our first break. We'll come back. When we return, the official announcement, speaking of official announcements, the one that not a lot of people wanted to hear. I think we all knew it was coming. I think we all knew that there was something like this, and it's been made official. Cam Rising and what his future looks like and what football looks like in the future for him, he made an announcement, and he made the news clear as to what is going to happen with him. We'll talk about that a little bit next. Stay here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Debbie Dujanovic just walked by. Dave and Debbie fame on KSL News Radio. She got her gear. She went with the winter hat, and I'll tell you, there's a lot of winter hats in there.
Sweet.
And they look really cool. And I was like, but there's that party that goes, it's 80 today, bro.
It's May. So, yeah, they might not be selling today.
They'll be back. Well,
but everybody in this state's going to be wearing one of those snow caps with the Mammoth logo on it by
Pretty
the time
darn cool. December
rolls around.
They said the team store's open until 6, so you got a few more hours to get down here and enjoy some of those and get yourself some Utah Mammoth gear. Try to be the – look, you got to be the first. You know what I mean?
You got to be.
That's what everybody wants. You got to be the first. Be that person who shows up and oh, boy, that car is about to die right there. That car is dead.
No.
Is that going to die on the train track? Oh, boy. Well, thank heavens it got across. All right. We were about to report on a train v car situation right there. You know those? Like, my heavens.
Weird stuff happens here on the intersection of South Temple and 300
I've done the breaking news thing on the radio, so I was ready. In case something would have happened, I was ready.
Reminds me last year when we were out here, there was a guy wandering through the intersection in the middle of traffic. Remember that?
Yeah, was he – but he was naked or what? I can't remember what the situation was.
No, he had some clothing on.
Okay, all right.
But we were all very worried about his well-being because it was rush hour traffic.
So
you never know what's going to happen here downtown.
We're outside.
Always an adventure.
We're outside Delta Center here, of course, where the Utah Mammoth branding is big. What are they going to do with the big old? I would assume they just have to take the face off of the Utah Hockey Club, just the puck, just the front part of it, and then they can replace it with the Mammoth logo and fine. What are they going to do with that big old face of it, though?
I don't know.
I'm
curious to know.
We're a cheap people. And,
yeah, I'm sure. I imagine they were smart enough to have a plan because they knew it was temporary.
Oh, you
right?
think it's magnetic? It just clicked on there?
I have
Maybe.
no idea. But
Maybe.
Hopefully somebody in the organization can cue us in on that because I'm sure there's fans that are curious how they're going to change out that puck.
The 12-foot in diameter puck has a magnetic face on it, that just in case. They were ready with the Wasatch. They were ready with a Outlaw. Just so happens that they're going to be the Mammoth.
Yeah, I'm
now,
sure
so
they had all three of them.
What was
made.
the other one? It was a snake of some sort? What was it? No. What was
the Venom?
Was it the
Remember the Venom?
Yeah, Venom popped up for a minute.
It didn't work
right?
out.
No.
Sorry to all you out there that wanted Venom. And
all of you House of Slytherin people out there who were really big on it and saw that one go away. Yeah.
Nerd alert!
Hey, coming up at 4 o'clock, BYU offensive coordinator Aaron Roderick is going to join us. Chat a little bit about the post-spring life of a coach now who is recruiting hitting the recruiting trail and trying to figure out what a roster looks like. We'll ask him a lot of questions as it pertains to how to navigate all that on top of all the things that they're doing to make sure that they keep that momentum from last season and see what Jake Retzlaff's doing to improve his stock as a quarterback. JJ, speaking of quarterbacks, Cam Rising made it official. It appears that he is so of all the things that he could have medically retired for, the finger ended up being the one that got him.
Crazy.
The knee, all those things, the finger, I mean, it was the hit out of bounds against Baylor, right?
Yes.
This is where this originated. And
you can't grip a football.
It was, and I think that it became more than what they anticipated it was going to be. And of course, he made the effort to come back and to figure it out. But at that point, it was just rough, and it spelt doom for that Utah program last year, who, was just not anticipating having to throw in Isaac Wilson as early as they did. And so you've got yourself a tough situation where you have a guy who was, for all intents and purposes, I don't know if I'm overstating this, but Cam Rising was kind of already at legend status, going to the Pac-12 championship game twice and winning that championship twice and going to the Rose Bowl twice. And obviously the injuries caught up with him, and you never like to see that a guy has to be forced to go away from the thing that he loves to do and maybe even had a future in after this. But, he medically retires, and that's all she wrote for the football career of Cam Rising. Hopefully he finds, I think that this is the kind of thing where I don't know what his future is going to end up. Maybe.
I think we already got a clue.
Tell me what's going on.
So some news also was reported and broke today from On3, Hayes Fawcett, pulling it up right now. So Cam Rising already has a new job. So he is going to become the OC at his alma mater, Newbury Park High School in California.
Okay, there you go.
So I think that he gave a little bit of a clue as to what he was probably going to go do as well in the final statement he posted on social media today, because he shared and thanked Coach Ludwig specifically in that message about helping him become a film junkie, about understanding the intellectual part of football and getting in the film room and all those things that, when he was probably in high school and earlier, he was so strong and skilled that he didn't
could just
have
go.
to.
He could just show up and do it.
Master those kind of things. But he mastered that, and it helped him become the quarterback that he became, that allowed him to lead Utah to back-to-back Pac-12 championships. I think he's going to go into coaching, and this is the first step for him, coaching in high school. They've got a Michigan commit at quarterback, a kid named Brady Smeagol, who he's going to coach. And so it's a great opportunity for him to turn the page. And you know what? Another thing I'll say about this, let's acknowledge how great he was.
Yeah.
The last two seasons were disappointing. But the legacy's going to be the 2 Rose Bowls, the 2 Pac-12 championships. Alex Smith took them to the Fiesta Bowl in an undefeated season.
Yeah.
Brian Johnson led them to a Sugar Bowl in an undefeated season, a win over Alabama. Cam did it twice. He took them the New Year's Day Bowl games twice, 2 years in a row, And no one in the school history has been able to do that. So his legacy is intact, no matter what happened the last 2 years.
Well, and listen, I think we all knew, too, like the Pac-12 was something different than the Mountain West. I mean,
there's no doubt about
I'm
that.
not trying to take away from what
it was a different level.
It was just a different – and you know what it was is they were asking – Utah football got to this other level that was not that G5 kind of vibe. Then you become a Power 4 champion a couple years in a row. And then people go, oh, think about what Utah now. I will say all the discussions we've had about Utah, and you think about what last year was and then what next year could become, right? The interesting thing about that is that all of the people who are looking at Utah and going, no, reset, already putting them in the discussion about you've already seen a handful of these polls go. Now, don't forget about Utah. Put them in there. Put them on the edge of the top 25 because why wouldn't they be back? This is what they expect. This is what Kyle Whittingham does. And a lot of that is based off of what Cam Rising did in the prior years here. And I think people really do throw out that year from last year from Utah because they go, that's the outlier. That's the exception rather than the rule. And I
His
think
career ended in the Baylor game.
That's crazy. And you think about it, too. And everybody's like, oh, get out of bounds, kid. That Baylor defender, like he went in late on him.
Yeah, he did.
And that is unfortunate. This guy's career got ended by a dude who decided to just do a little bit of extracurricular and hit him a little bit later and put him into that, we didn't think much of it because he gets hit into the drink station, right? And then you go, oh, that's weird. But, man, it's tough. It's tough because his football playing career ended in that moment.
You know what?
What game was that? Game 4? 5?
Baylor's game 2.
Game 2. Oh, my gosh.
Game 2. Remember, they played the first half against Southern Utah, and then he played the first half against Baylor, and that was
bonkers.
It. Tried to come back in the Arizona State game, and now that we know how serious his hand injury was, it explains why he played so poorly in that game.
On top of the
fact, he should never have played in that game.
On top of the fact that you remember he had that play where he got kind of twisted up weird, and his leg was already funky, and he was limping around. It was a guy who was sewn together at that point.
You know what? This is a perfect example, Alex, of why NIL is so good today. And why so many players of the past were robbed of something that they deserved. Cam Rising, I know a lot of people were upset, he made all this money the last 2 years, blah, blah, blah. Well, think of it as like over the span of time he played for that university, what he did. When you add that all into it, he probably earned all of it, every bit of it.
Think about how wild it is like to go, $1 million, and then you go, oh, yeah, but nowadays that's kind of
It's not that much. Weirdly, I know saying that sounds weird, and all of you that don't have $1 million, including me, like, what? No, it's just the economy has changed and inflation has happened, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to give an economics lesson here. What I'm trying to get to is that Cam Rising benefited from the NIL era, and he's the perfect example of why NIL is so important in college football because these players take a beating, and it takes a toll on them. They give everything they have for that university, and somebody like Cam is beaten down and broken by the time he's 25 years old. Guess what, though? He made money in college. Imagine doing everything he did, not making a dime playing football, and then he's robbed of a pro football career because he got injured in his last game of college.
Yeah.
That would be terrible. And it's great that today these players get paid money if they're good enough to get paid money, or the option is there for them to earn what they are worth. These guys may not get to the next level. And you thought Cam Rising was going to be in the NFL. It didn't work out for him. But he's got a nice amount of money. Hopefully he's taken care of it and has had some people in his corner that helped him handle it the right way. And he's going to have that money that he otherwise wouldn't have had. And it's going to set him up for success in life. And now he's going to be able to go on and do what he wants to do, which is coach football. And it's pretty cool.
Let's take another break here. We'll come back. When we return, we have our Would You Rather right around the corner. A mascot-related Would You Rather for JJ on the way back here. So you'll want to hear these. You'll want to play along with us as well of which one you'd rather have in the future. When we come back, stay here. We're out here on the corner, South Temple and 3rd West, right outside Delta Center. And we're celebrating with the community here as the Utah Mammoth is now officially the name of the NHL team that will be living in this building across the street from the KSL broadcast house. So we'll take the break here. We'll come back. We got more to go. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. as JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
All right, everybody, welcome back. I don't know if you know this, but the sports situation here in the state of Utah is healthy. But we need a little bit more help, all right? You can donate to the KSL Sports 2-for-1. Every dollar, every cent is going to go to Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital in hopes that we can recapture a little bit of that karma to get the Utah Jazz the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. We already had one good draft lottery, JJ. Let's cross those fingers for another. Don't even cross fingers. Do the right thing. Make a donation and make it happen at KSLSports.com. JJ.
Yes.
The Mammoth, of course, after many months of fighting over what this mascot was going to be or should be, and the advent of the Yeti coming and going, and all the things that came along with all that, and all the stuff that came along with it, the world of mascots has hit me hard today. So I wanted to find for you. I don't know. You could look at these as the best or the worst mascots across the country.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you some mascots that are that are real, and they happen to be at high schools across the country. Now, beat diggers at Jordan High School, they're on a lot of these lists, by the way.
They should be.
I'm not
very unique.
I'm not going to bring them up, but I will do this one.
So no minor league baseball.
No minor league
no
baseball.
trash pandas.
No. In minor league baseball, their thing is they want to get weird.
That's their shtick.
Right. Some of these high schools are stuck with it, right?
Okay.
Blooming Prairie High School in Minnesota, they are the Awesome Blossoms. So the Awesome Blossoms.
Okay.
Or the Hooperston area high school, Hooperston, Illinois, Corn Jerkers.
Oh, Corn Jerkers.
Okay.
Easy.
Corn Jerkers or the Galloping Ghosts of Kaukauna High School in Wisconsin.
I'm still going with the Corn Jerkers.
The Corn Jerker or the Polka High School Polka Dots in West Virginia.
Polka Dots that's something, but I'm still going with the Corn Jerkers.
All right, how about this? The Polo High School Polo Marcos.
The Polo Marcos?
The Polo Marcos. That's a real mascot.
They didn't go Marco Polo, probably because of probably for the same reason with the Utah aren't the Yeti.
Oh, yeah.
So they went
sure.
Polo Marco.
Polo Marco.
I'm still going with the Corn Jerkers.
Okay. The Yuba City High School Honkers.
Oh, man, I'm familiar with that area. The Honkers?
The Honkers. Now, they've got a big old picture of a Canadian goose on there.
I know some people that went to Yuba City High School, and they never told me it was the Honkers.
They're the Honkers. Well, they kept it from me for a reason.
They probably didn't bring that up on purpose because it's terrible. I'm going with the Corn Jerkers again.
The Frankfort High School in Frankfort, Indiana, they are the Fighting Hot Dogs.
The Fighting Hot Dogs? So this is going to come between the Fighting Hot Dogs and the Corn Jerkers?
You notice it's a dachshund, like a wiener dog.
Okay.
Right? But
so
still,
it's a wiener dog.
The hot dog, come on.
It's a hot dog.
Yeah.
Literal dog.
Yeah.
Still going with the Corn Jerkers.
Okay. Let me see here. The Mighty Bunnies of Omaha High School.
Mighty
Omaha
Bunnies.
Benson High School in Nebraska.
Well, of course, we have the Delta Rabbits, but the Fighting Bunnies is that's another level.
How about so Corn Jerkers or
still,
Fighting Bunnies?
Corn Jerkers still
wins. Pretty better. The Millionaires of Williamsport High School in Pennsylvania.
So is their mascot got a?
It's a top hat with some gloves. You notice?
Does it have a monocle?
He better.
You can't.
It looks like they killed the Monopoly guy. It's just his stuff.
Yeah, they stole Park Place.
They did.
and buried him underneath it.
The Monopoly, the Millionaires.
It reminds me of the Austin Peay Governors mascot, which is elite, but
Okay.
not in this discussion. Still Corn Jerkers.
The Centralia High School Orphans.
The Orphans?
Yes, the Orphans.
The Orphans?
Yes.
That's terrible.
And then
why?
I don't know.
I want to know the backstory.
Their dance team are the Orphan Annies. I'm not kidding.
No way.
Yes, they are.
That's amazing, but I still got to go Corn Jerkers.
And then finally, the Corn Jerkers or the New Berlin High School in Illinois. Lots of these coming out of Illinois, by the way. The Pretzels, the Fighting Pretzels. And it's a literal pretzel, if you notice.
I could go for a pretzel right now, but as a mascot goes, that's terrible. I'm sticking with the Corn Jerkers.
Corn Jerkers is the winner. All right, there you go. We're going to take the break here.
But the Orphan Annies is pretty good.
Orphan Annies is terrible. We'll come back. Aaron Roderick, BYU offensive coordinator, going to join us next. Stay right here with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and and gentlemen,
The biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex, with the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. Presented by G2G Bars. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen, thanks for being with us on the program, everybody. Anticipating a call from Aaron Roderick, BYU's offensive coordinator, in just a few moments here. In the meantime, our program brought to you by G2G Bars, all natural ingredients and no preservatives. Make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. You can give it a shot today. Costco, Holiday Oil, Maverick, Associated Foods, and many other retailers in the refrigerated section because they're dang fresh, all right? So give it a shot. Let's kick things off here with the cut, and we'll get down to some business here. So let's start off the second hour as we always do. Let's do it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And, of course, this portion of the show brought to you by an incredible selection of Kia, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram. It's your Doug Smith family of dealerships, now offering the Mitsubishi brand in the Doug Smith family. Nobody knows cars like Doug. Joining us on the program right now, he is the offensive coordinator for the BYU Cougars, Aaron Roderick, A-Rod, on the program here with us. Thanks for being with us, Coach. We appreciate it, man. How's your, I'll say break, but there's no such thing in your world anymore.
Yeah, not much of a break. In fact, I hope you guys can hear me okay. I'm driving to a high school track meet right now, but but yeah, it's pretty wild. Things are constantly changing, and we're just working away trying to adapt to it.
The work never ends, as you're showing us right now. There's so much to talk about, so much to look at. I'm curious to get your thoughts just on spring overall, what you saw from your guys on offense, what you were looking for, and what you were able to accomplish.
Yeah, we had a good spring. We had a few goals we wanted to accomplish. One was just to throw more completions. I thought last year our completion percentage wasn't where I would like it to be. And we had a really good year, and we had a lot of explosive plays, and we're a team that throws the ball down the field. So, that's part of the deal a little bit when you throw it as down the field as often as we do. But I would like our completion percentage to be up at near 70% this year. And for spring ball, we were above 70% Jake was for the spring. So now that's practice. We got to do it. We got to go do it in a game. But I think if we can throw a few more completions, that's going to lead to a couple more first downs. It's going to lead to a couple more red zone conversions. It equals points. It's a worthy stat to chase because it's going to help us win.
You talk about Jake Retzlaff. Obviously, you think about from year one to year two. Obviously, year one limited by getting a start partway through the year, and just getting a handful of games. Those 4 games that you went off of, and everybody looked and went, well, you go 0 for 4 as a starter, and then you go to last year where he gets 11 wins as a starter and end up, of course, where BYU does and where you guys are. What's the next iteration of Jake, and not just the completion part of it? What does he want to do to up his game even more this next season?
Well, I think one thing that people don't see a lot of, because it's not always obvious, is how often he gets us into the right play. We give him a lot of freedom. There's a lot of calls that are really 2-play calls and get us into the right one. There's in some cases it's 3-play calls, get us into the right play. And sometimes it's just maybe a 4-yard gain on a run play, but he just avoided a disaster by getting us into that run play to make 4 yards. And which, keeps you on schedule for the next play. So there's a lot there that he does a really good job with, and I think in his senior year we're going to be able to take that to another level because of his experience now, and there's not a lot of defense he hasn't seen at this point. So I think that you're going to see him just get us into a lot of good plays, and I think that's going to lead to more points.
You say another level. What is your expectation for him, and what is his own expectation for what he's going to do this next season?
I don't want to speak for him about what his expectations are, but I know Jake is a super competitor. You guys, that's probably obvious when you watch him play, and he keeps track of. He's a guy who keeps track of the people who doubt him. He's a guy that keeps track of how other quarterbacks he wants to be great. And so I don't know specifically what his personal goals are, but I know we've spoken about some very tangible, measurable things that we can do better this year as a team that are going to lead to more production. And, it's like I already mentioned, the completion percentage thing. And we want to play a little better on third down this year. And we think those things are going to help us score more points.
Let's talk a little bit about how much your world has changed when it comes to, the amount of scholarships that are available and just the roster limited numbers that you end up getting as well. How do you guys balance that with, and it's a brand new thing, and I know that you guys are trying to prepare yourselves as much as possible, but when you have to get down to that 105 number total that's in the building, how does that work? And how have you guys been able to kind of manage where you are with that number as to where you're going to be in the fall?
It's been one of the hardest things I've had to deal with in 26 years. First of all, we still don't know for sure if it's 105. They've been saying it is for months, and now maybe there's some doubt that it might not be. It's been so that alone has been hard. You're signing recruits in the normal signing class, and then you're recruiting players in the portal without knowing exactly what your roster number is. And so, but we had some really tough conversations with some players on our team that. In past years, we've been really good at developing younger guys who aren't ready to play right away, but it takes a few years, and then they end up being starters for us in year 3 or 4 or 5 in the program. And we had to have some tough conversations with some guys that basically, hey, if it's 105, you're probably not on the team. And a couple of those guys elected to just leave now to make sure they had a place to go, and there's a few other guys that are kind of waiting, sort of in limbo, waiting to hear, and it's been, that was not fun. Those are not conversations that any coach enjoys having. And, but the bright side is I think that it's losing a lot of players that we don't want to lose. Most of the guys we wanted to stay are staying. And I think that's a real tribute to Kalani and just the culture that he's created with our staff, and I think most of our players are enjoying being a part of the program.
Your offensive line was phenomenal last season, and now a lot of those guys are headed to the NFL. You got to replace some really good dudes, some guys that have been as good as it gets at BYU. How is that group looking, and how do you feel about the transition you're going to have from what last year's group did to what this year could do?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Obviously, Connor Pay was a 3 or 4 year starter for us. And our 2 tackles last year I've got a soft spot forever for both of those guys, Braden Keim and Caleb Etienne. Everybody knows what Caleb went through the year before. He really struggled. He got benched, played a little bit of guard for us, but never, ever hung his head, never blamed anyone, always took accountability, and then came back this year and was all conference. And just an awesome story. What an awesome kid. And Braden Keim, too, man, a guy that started out as a tight end and worked his way up and went through some injuries and had a great year for us. The bigger question, one of the blessings in disguise of all the injuries we had last year was I think we started about 6 different starting lineups with the O-line, and we had guys playing multiple positions, moving around, and so even though we're losing some good players, we had Bruce Mitchell step up and play some huge games for us last year at center and guard, and I expect him to be our starting center. And we had Austin Leosa play big for us at guard and tackle, and so he could be a starter at either one of those. And then we bring in Gentry from Michigan, and Isaiah Jada played great when we needed him at the end of the last season. He came in and played great, and I expect him to be our starting left tackle. So I think we're going to be just fine with those guys. They've got to go out and prove it, but I have a lot of confidence in that group. And we get Waylon Lakwaho back, who I think is one of the best players in the conference, and so I think there should be we should have no drop off there.
Man, a lot of O-line talk. I'm loving it right now. Like that's that's the soft spot for me. I always love being able to get those guys all that respect. But obviously, your job is made a lot easier by the fact that if you are able to build that O-line and make them as good as they have been the last couple of seasons, then that makes all your other guys' jobs a little bit easier. Let's talk about that running back room. What's the roster look like in there, and what are your expectations for the improvement of LJ Martin, who just is one of these guys who's on the brink of just of doing insane things, I think, from a historical perspective for BYU.
Yeah, LJ is a great player and just a great person. He's to me, LJ is what our whole program's about. He's just makes a difference, makes an impact on the game, and it kind of got easy to forget about him because we had some other guys step up and play well. And then, man, when he comes back in, you just realize, whoa, he's a good player. And so I'm psyched about him. And Sione Moa also did a lot of good things for us last year. And I'm expecting him to be one of our best players this year.
Hey, Rod, one of the things, too, we've been kind of watching closely is not just the development of your guys that you have that are in the building, but obviously you guys are trying to figure out some things when it comes to that roster and how to improve and then looking forward. Is the track meet you're going to, is that a business or pleasure situation? Because I feel like it's always business, and if you're at a track meet, that's good news. Maybe a speedster in the future.
It's a little bit of both. My daughter's running in the track meet, so I get to watch her, and then I'll also keep my eye on if there's anybody else that runs fast. Yeah.
You always have to keep your eyes open, right?
Yeah. We have a kid on our team named Kevin Doe from East High School. He's a corner, and he's going to play for us someday. He's still developing, but he saw him a couple years ago at a track meet, and he had never played football before, and it's like, holy crap, that guy's fast, and he's tall, and ended up playing football his senior year, walked on to our team, and he'll get on the field at some point in his career, and he was just a track guy that ran fast, and he's doing a good job.
That's the awesome thing about football is it lends itself to those type of stories, and I love this game for that. Speaking of speedsters and fast guys, your wide receiver group, you're pretty loaded there, although you lose Keelan Marion. I'm sure that's a big hit, but I hope and assume Chase Roberts is going to be back 100%. What's the wide receiver room looking at after spring and after the transfer of Marion?
Yeah, Keelan, you're right. Keelan was a really good player for us, and we're going to miss him. He did a lot of good things. But yes, Chase Roberts will be 100%. We have Parker Kingston and JoJo Phillips, who I thought did a lot of good things last year, and I think you're going to see both of those two guys are finally. I shouldn't say finally. They've been right on schedule the whole time, but I think they are now at the stage of their career where they're ready to be every down players. And they both did a lot of good things last year, and I think now you're gonna really see them emerge in bigger roles. And then the addition of Tiger Bachmeier is a big one. Very experienced player, graduated from Stanford in 2.5 years, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, 2.5 years, got a degree from Stanford. He's brilliant and very good football player who can also return kickoffs and punts. And so we're really excited into the room, and I expect him to have an immediate impact.
Well, the package deal, you got two Bachmeiers. What can you tell us about the quarterback?
Well, he's a very good football player. We really wanted him out of high school, and he was a national recruit. I mean, he had Georgia and Alabama, Notre Dame, Oregon, everybody, and pretty much could have gone anywhere he wanted, and he chose to go to Stanford. And so we missed out, and then turns out this spring we got a second chance at him, and we got him. So we're super excited to have him. He's a very good football player, super athlete, also highly intelligent like his brother, and a very good, accurate passer. Just I don't usually make bold predictions, but I think he's going to be a great player at BYU.
It's exciting. Coaching is hard, and I don't think we talk enough about the grind you guys are in and the pressure cooker you guys are in each and every day. You just come off an 11-win season, and I can't imagine what that was like. But for the previous year, you win 5 games, and I can't imagine the amount of pressure you and the whole staff felt last year. How rewarding was it for you, A-Rod, to be a part of that transition and turnaround, to go from 5 wins to 11 wins? I know the pressure never goes away, but it's got to be a much different feeling now.
Sure, it feels good. I mean, anybody that says it doesn't would be lying. It feels good when you have a down year and you're disappointed, and it hurts to lose those close games, and it's rewarding to come back and find ways to win. And we won a lot of close games last year, and now the challenge is this year we're not sneaking up on anybody. We're going to have a target on our backs, and there's some teams that they'll be ready to play that maybe last year didn't, maybe in the back of their minds they didn't think we were that good, and that's not going to happen this year. We're going to get everybody's best every week, and so we have to be ready for that and be ready to step up to that challenge.
Aaron Roderick, he's the offensive coordinator for BYU, joins us here on the program as we love talking about all this stuff. The offseason has become even more interesting and important, obviously, and it never stops. And so we wish you the best of luck this summer as you guys keep this thing going and as you whittle it down to whatever the number of the NCAA or whoever it is that runs college football these days will give you in terms of a number. So
let me know if you guys find out who's
we will.
We'll be on top of it.
Not just that number, but whoever the guy is, you got to call to figure out what that number is.
Whoever's calling the shots, let me know who he is.
Aaron Roderick. Thanks, A-Rod. We appreciate it, man. We'll chat with you again.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. Oh, my goodness.
I'm so happy for him.
What a wild freaking time.
Because, these guys, I know they're well compensated for what they do, and they do get notoriety when things are going well. But when things are going bad, man, everybody is bagging on these guys. These guys don't know what they're doing. These guys are terrible. They need to fire these guys. Look,
JJ,
that's all part of the game, and
JJ.
And A-Rod understands that.
When it's going well, they get that too.
I know. We had fire A-Rod stuff last year.
We get the fire A-Rod stuff.
Fire A-Rod is a phrase. That's why I wanted to ask him that.
Fire A-Rod, fire Jay Hill. People will just do it all.
He was
fire
pretty
Kalani.
humble in what he said, but he also didn't lie that it felt pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Because he knows all that's going on.
Of course.
Again, he understands it. It's part of the position. And offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators are sometimes more of a lightning rod than the head coaches. We've seen that in every capacity, whether it's the NFL or college football. So I'm just happy for the guy that you get a situation where you get to go out and prove to people that you can do this.
Yeah.
Right.
And look, the success is like a razor's edge too.
Yeah.
And the reality is the difference between 5 wins and 11 wins. Obviously, you look at it and you go, well, dude, what a massive improvement. And you go, you ask those coaches and they'll go, we actually weren't that far off.
Right.
We
we just
games,
won the close games
they
last
won
year.
the close games last year. And now, look, there were some bad games, obviously, in 2023. But I'll tell you.
Texas Tech, West Virginia. Or, sorry, Iowa State, West Virginia.
Right, that stretch.
That was not good football.
That was tough. But I will tell you that, you think about how it ended at you think about the
TCU
Oklahoma.
I'll throw in there as well.
You think about the Oklahoma and the Oklahoma State games to end the season.
Should have won those games.
And Jake Retzlaff 2024 probably does win those games.
Correct.
Right? But that's the difference that not just the year makes, but the experience.
It's the difference between a sophomore quarterback and junior quarterback.
Yeah.
And this year they're hoping they get the senior quarterback experience.
He made that jump. Yeah, that's what I'm interested to just see, how it is. But, you could get in his voice, obviously, that how it's like, dude, having these conversations with guys that, by the way, you begged to come to BYU, and you said, get there, let's get you developed, and then you have a chat with them after spring this year, maybe after a year or two, or maybe even after they get off their mission, and you go, if it's 105, you're not on this team.
Yep.
Now, and there's some guys who are probably in that limbo area. He's the second coach we've heard talk about this where it's like, Kyle Whittingham brought it up during the end of his spring, which was, last year they ended up granting us extra numbers, right? And so I wonder if there's going to be some version of that this year where it's like, hey, all these coaches are probably pushing back and going, you're requiring this right now is just too hard. You know what I mean? limiting the number at this number is too difficult. And I get that scholarship numbers are higher, but guys that are in your program are way lower. So when you're expecting 20 extra or 25 extra people or 30 extra people in your building to help develop your program or to help get those guys developed, like you can't develop those guys anymore. And you have to tell them they were probably, I mean, you heard it in his voice, is like those were the hardest discussions I've ever had to have in coaching. Yeah. Like, hey, I know I begged you to come here, because those were conversations that are happening. I know we told you all these things about what we wanted to get out of you, and it's just not going to happen because we're being limited here. So we want you to be able to go somewhere. If you're able to do it right now, let's get you there. You know what I mean? And we'll send your film, and we'll do all this stuff like that. Those are real conversations that this coaching staff is having, and so that's a difficult one to have. So, all right, we'll take a break. We appreciate BYU and Aaron Roderick for the extra time here during the offseason as they're getting going. I love that, too. It's like, yeah, I know I'm going to go watch my dog track me, but there's that little part of you. There's always a dog and a guy. These recruiters are recruiting all the time. So they go to a guy and they
never stops.
They go, I saw this dude running the 200. I want that guy on my team. Oh,
I can teach that guy how to run.
He can't. He's never held a football.
Passing routes.
Don't care.
I can teach that guy how to run.
We'll teach him. When he was talking about Bear Bachmeier, the quarterback of the two brothers, Tigers, the wide receiver, it almost was like he was bringing up, hey, this is a lot of stuff. Like he's a lot of things, and maybe quarterback wasn't one of them. He was like, dude, he's a tremendous football player, great athlete. Right? You keep hearing that, and then you go, I don't know what the future looks like for him at quarterback. But, again, you talk about guys, they bring him in, they go, maybe they don't end up being quarterbacks.
Well,
maybe
they
haven't
had him in a spring football. They haven't had him at practice yet.
Right.
They don't know yet. They've seen what they've seen on film, and they know what they know from what he did at Stanford. And as obviously he was a highly recruited kid. But you don't know until you get a hold of him.
All right, let's take the break here. We'll come back. We are outside Delta Center out here on the plaza, enjoying a beautiful day, one of the best days of the year so far, weather-wise, here in the state of Utah. It only took us to get to first week of May to be able to get there, so loving it, all right?
It is beautiful.
And, of course, the announcement today that the Utah Hockey Club is now transitioned to the Utah Mammoth. That's your new NHL team here in Salt Lake. It's the Utah Mammoth officially today, as announced by SEG, Ryan, and Ashley Smith. We still have the comments that Ashley Smith made as well. Want to get to those. Don't want to miss any of those as well. So stay here. More to go around the corner. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, here we are. JJ and Alex, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen. We are outside Delta Center here on the plaza, enjoying the rollout of the. Hey, look, they had all the stuff out today. I was on the freeway and I saw the branding minions out, putting out the big old mammoth and tusks up, and every like overpass across the freeway. There was some new signage, and then of course the billboards hit, and and right outside Delta Center here, by the way, they have all the different banners that are up, those vinyl banners, and everything's been rebranded. Boy, but it's like nothing compared to like what they've had to do over the past little bit. the Utah Mammoth have.
I think today was a sigh of relief for everybody involved. Like they finally got here.
Right? Can we like not have to babysit like an administrative thing now for this team for a minute?
Yeah.
Like, let's just get go right to the hockey part. You know what I mean?
Know who they are. You got a whole off season here to just focus on, making the roster better and building this building up and getting it ready for another season of hockey. And 2 or 3 years from now, this place is going to be packed every night with 17,000 fans for hockey. And then the next night you can come and 19,000 fans can watch the Jazz. And what an awesome thing.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine even 5 years ago thinking that this could be a possibility? It's phenomenal what they've done.
It was a quick turnaround, but like I said, culminating with an actual final name that the team lands on.
And it's cool and it looks great.
Looks good.
We couldn't wait to go buy. We bought gear today.
Yeah, I'll tell
we
you
weren't
what.
given gear. We bought it.
No. Yeah, we have some people walking by going, "Hey, why aren't you guys giving away gear?" I was like, settle down.
Good luck, man.
Slow your roll a little bit. Ain't nothing given away. Well, I mean, we give away a lot of stuff. I mean, it's a Win Ticket Wednesday, in fact.
We don't give away Utah Mammoth hats.
It's
They're
a
$30 a piece.
It's a Win Chicken Wednesday. I think we're going to be giving away something next hour, so stand by. No, next segment here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make an executive decision here. Since I just talked about how we don't give away free stuff very often, I'm going to belie myself and get you some free stuff right now. Caller number 12. All you have to do is give us a call, 801-575-ZONE, and we can get you 2 tickets to see Eric Church, the Free the Machine tour at Delta Center on October 23rd. Tickets are on sale this Friday, but you can win them right now. All you have to do is give us a call. Caller number 12 gets a pair of tickets. 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-9663. JJ, the NBA has now totally befuddled us. I'm befuddled. Are you fuddled? Have you been fuddled
I'm
again?
befuddled.
Befuddled?
The second round here, like the first round, I was
just fuddled.
I was just fuddled. Now I'm befuddled.
Yes.
How in the world do the road teams go out there and win game one? How does a road team win both games in Cleveland?
Yeah. How is it that right now there have been 5 road games played in the second round of the NBA playoffs, and all 5 games have gone the way of the lower seed, the visiting team? In the case of the Golden State Warriors, we wondered what that was going to look like, and it wasn't pretty. And it wasn't the thing that doomed. Here's how bad the Lakers are. If I can sneak a Laker dig in.
I'm here for it.
Here's how bad the Lakers are. The Timberwolves went 7 for 47 in Game 5. We forgot about that wholly because you went, oh, yeah, no, it was a bad game shooting-wise for the 3 because you had Rudy Gobert go 27 and 24. Now, I don't know. I didn't see the final number, but when it was partway through, I think there was like 3 or 4 minutes left, and Rudy Gobert had single-digit points still. He finished
with 9 points, 11 rebounds, 3 blocks.
Dude.
Which is his normal production at this stage of his career. He's not going to get 27 and 24.
No, but you should. But listen, on a night when no one's shooting worth beans on your team,
Mike Conley had 0 points and was 0 of 5.
That was a bad shooting night for the Timberwolves team. Then I started to look back and go, well, say, how did they shoot the ball the rest of the year? Is this just like a 2-game anomaly? What's going on? 7 for 47 is as bad as I've ever seen an NBA team shoot the 3-point shot. First of all, 47 threes. At some point you go, you know what? I know that we said in practice just to keep shooting. This is our identity. But let's dial that back a little bit, huh? Let's settle down. In the meantime, you have Steph Curry who goes out in that game, which he missed half of that game, JJ. He missed half of that game, and they still lost and the Timberwolves still lost that game. And by the way, the Timberwolves are going to be playing against this Steph Curry-less team again.
Yeah.
Coming up on Thursday because Steve Kerr said that Steph's going to be out at least a week with the hamstring, right? And so the hamstring injury, but you have to take a lot of courage in going if you're the Golden State Warriors and go, oh yeah, we still held them to 70 whatever points in the middle of the fourth quarter. I think they ended up with 88. You go sub 90 in the 2025 NBA season, NBA postseason. You're not a good basketball team right now.
Yeah.
The Timberwolves look like garbage, and the T-Wolves were supposed to be. Weren't they they were one of your dark horse picks to go to that?
Well, it's
Western
funny
Conference
though they're both my dark horse picks.
Right, they were.
I talked about it, and sure enough, in the first round they both won. But I said the Warriors and the Timberwolves are good enough to represent the West and go to the NBA Finals. And if you're looking at the way things are playing out right now, wouldn't be that big of a shock, right? That one of those two teams. Now we're down on the Timberwolves right now because of the way they've shot the ball the last 2 games, but. Now, moving forward, they're not going to shoot 17% from 3 in Game 2.
They're
15th in the league in 3-point shooting. They got
so
guys
there.
on the team that can shoot it.
Yeah.
If they simply raise their percentage of their season average, they're going to win a lot of games in this series. So I think the Timberwolves can bounce back nicely in Game 2. There's not going to be a Steph Curry. They can game plan for that. The Warriors got through Game 1 without him for the most part. I think it's going to be tough on them after that. Can the Warriors weather the storm without Steph Curry until he gets back in the series? We will find out. That's going to be key. And can the Timberwolves finally start shooting at their average clip from 3 and not the abysmal shooting they've had in the last 2 games? I feel it's an anomaly. The Timberwolves are going to find their shot. Rudy's going to get more productive. Mike Conley's not going to go 0 points back-to-back games. the Timberwolves will bounce back, and I think this is going to be a 7-game series.
You know what I loved about Chris Finch, the head coach of the Timberwolves, in that press conference in the postgame? He goes, it all starts with Anthony Edwards.
He went right at his star.
And look, if you want to be the star, then these are the things you got to put up with, right? And by the way, Chris Finch has been a phenomenal coach in this offseason so far, right? Like, that's how you get through that first round. He absolutely embarrassed J.J. Redick in that first round. Like, he outcoached the hell out of him. And guess what? Now this team's going to be without Steph Curry that they're facing off against. And he said, what is there to talk about? You're the leader of this team. This is Chris Finch. He said, you've got to come out there and set the tone. If your shot's not going, you still have to carry the energy. If you've got to talk to guys about having the right energy coming into the opening second-round game, then we're not – or if you have to talk about guys to have the right energy coming into an opening round second-round game, then we're not on the same page. So the critique is, look, I love this because I feel like coaches these days don't say this to their superstar, right?
Yeah.
Don't you feel like coaches now, they're the ones who they have to suck up to the superstar. They have to just go, it's like Greg Popovich. He's like the only guy or Steve Kerr. Those are the guys that can go right at their dudes and be critical and be hypercritical, and they can get away with it because they have that carte blanche. But in this sense, I love to hear this because I'm all for it. And I want to see the Timberwolves win this series. I would love to see them beat the Golden State Warriors. I don't love that group, but
I would not mourn the death of the Warriors dynasty.
No. But like the way that you do it is to have this kind of attitude and to say these types of things if you're the head coach. So you've got that, and then you have the Cavaliers, who I don't know if it's the Cavaliers losing that game. I mean, Donovan Mitchell had a phenomenal game last night. Doesn't matter.
48. How many times have Jazz fans seen that? He goes out and scores 48, and they have a 20-point lead, and they blow it in the fourth quarter.
Did he have a 50-point game when they lost one of those games against the Nuggets in the bubble?
Yep.
It's
they didn't win that series.
They did not win that series. And were they up 3-1 in that series?
They were.
Gosh dang it. I hate that my brain remembers those things sometimes, and I go, gosh, forget about that. Those are bad times.
The trauma of those two seasons is not lost. I think Jazz fans are still lamenting that in the end of that era because it should have been better. It should have ended differently.
So it's the first time in NBA history that all four teams in the opening round of the second round of the playoffs lose. I mean, all four road teams win those first games. Like I said, 5 games right now played on the road in the second round of the NBA playoffs, and all 5 have gone to that road team. That's a crazy thing to imagine, especially considering that some of these teams you go, look, Cleveland not getting that one back and going to Indiana down 0-2, you put a fork in them, right? Like at this point, you kind of go, the odds are not going to be there.
So, DeAndre Hunter, Evan Mobley, and they're hurt. They're banged up. They don't have their guys. They're missing 3 starters. So that's pretty tough. And you're already down 2-0, and you're missing 3 starters. Like Darius Garland's out as well, by the way. He's been out since the past series. So Darius Garland and Evan Mobley and DeAndre Hunter out, and you're trying to come back from an 0-2 deficit, and you're going on the road to Indiana. Good luck. Good luck. I think the Cavs are in big trouble. Of the higher seeds that lost so far.
Yeah.
The Cavs are the one I think that are in the biggest trouble. I think the other 3 can bounce back and win those series, no problem.
I don't think they're in trouble. I think it's over. If those other guys aren't in the series,
you're probably right.
There's just no way.
You don't doubt it because the Cavs have been so good and Donovan Mitchell is so good, and the Pacers can't continue to be this hot. But I mean, the Pacers are playing out of their minds right now.
Cleveland's
Pacers have been really good.
Cleveland's dream season ending.
The Pacers are falling behind and they're coming back, and they just have supreme confidence right now. Is my point.
Gosh, you got to invite I don't know, maybe get some family members in these next few games. I don't know, bring Halliburton's dad down to the floor again.
I think that'd be pretty cool if he came by and got to see his son play.
I think it'd be really cool to see his kid play.
Maybe they should invite him to come to Game 3.
Be fun.
Yeah,
it's a family environment. Come on, let's go.
I don't think he'd know what to do out there.
All right, we'll take the break here. We'll come back.
Wouldn't be able to contain his excitement.
When we return, we've got ourselves a top 10 game. All right, I've got a fun one here for you. It's money related, like it was yesterday, but this one's a little bit different. So I'm going to put JJ through his paces here. So stay here. 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody. Tomorrow, of course, is Thursday, which means that we are going to be rolling out our weekly winner of the Hercules Hero of the Week. You can nominate a youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. The way you do it is you go to KSLSports.com/contest and nominate a youth sports volunteer who does a phenomenal job, who does an awesome job in your community with the youth sports. And you know who that person is. It might be a team mom. It might be an assistant coach who dedicates way more time than they need to. And they make the experience way better for the kids who are learning to do the sports thing. And we love when we have adults who do the best job for these kids to learn the best way to approach sports. And that's why we honor them with the Hercules Hero of the Week, sponsored by the folks at Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals.
Last night I was at my son's baseball game.
Is this your pitch for you? Is this for your pitch for you to win it?
Well, quite the opposite,
okay.
actually.
All right.
So after the 6 o'clock news, I busted down to Riverton. I'm there, trying to do whatever I can to help.
Sure.
I'm not really needed because I'm not really good at it. They had this courtesy of letting me do it, which is nice. But what I do get to witness is all the people that are doing this.
Yes.
And it's kind of a challenge. And it takes up a lot of time, and it's demanding. And those coaches could just dedicate their time to their own lives and their own kids. But they make a great experience for everybody involved. And for parents like me, you and I, that can't be there every day all the time, it's nice to know that there's people out there that are doing a phenomenal job. And I see them each and every time I go out to the park, every weekend, every Saturday. My boys out playing, whether it's flag football or baseball or basketball or whatever. I might even try hockey this year.
Ooh.
There's going to be. I'm going to meet some hockey coaches that are teaching the game and the sport here. So I just want to say that there's people like me who suck at it. I thank the people out there that are great at it and that help our kids have great sports memories and learn great lessons in their life, because that's what it's really about.
I'm just imagining what that JJ nomination would sound like. JJ has a TV show that he has to do every afternoon, but he still makes time to come down.
He still comes out and he yells at my kid because he didn't do what he was supposed to do. He's told him 15 times to run through first without stopping, but my kid still stops, and JJ yells at him.
That's one of the things my wife and I always talk about. My wife goes, why do they run through second base and third base, but they don't run through first? You know what I mean? Like that age group where they go, whoop.
That is 7-8-year-old baseball. They won't run to first, but, man, they just won't stop after third.
They fly right through second base, and then the
second
guy
base right into center field.
No
bro,
problem.
Where are you going?
No, I tagged the base, bro. I'm safe.
I touched it. I'm
out.
done.
All right. JJ, here we go. Today's top 10. We talked about the highest paid athletes in the world, and now that I think about it like this, I go, you know what? This NIL situation is actually not bad.
Yeah.
Compared to with what the highest paid pros in the world are making. What did we talk about? It was Ronaldo who's number one, and he's over that $230 million.
He's got Saudi money.
Yeah, he's got that. He's got that PIF. He's got that PIF money. JJ, we're gonna get the timer going. Here's how the top 10 works. Today's is NIL valuations.
Ooh,
the top 10 across college sports. And this is a tough one
for
players with the highest valuations. The top 10 valuations for NIL. You don't need to know the number, but you just need to know the person. Let's go top 10 here. This is a difficult one today, by the way.
I bet.
So, without further ado, let's get that timer going. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Top 10.
Arch Manning.
Ding.
Jeremiah Smith.
Ding.
Carson Beck.
Ding.
Gosh dang. Now where do I go? Oh, man. Janoris Sellers at South Carolina.
Ding.
Okay. I'm going all quarterbacks here. Alex, help me in the studio. What are some other guys?
Drew Aller.
Ding.
There you go.
That's his only addition to the list.
Cade Klubnik.
Ding.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Any running backs out there that are stars? I mean, I already used the top wide receiver.
Hey, everybody, any running backs out there?
They're not giving any money or big evaluations, any safeties or linebackers out there. I'm out of guys. I was not prepared for this at all.
You know, it's tough because who's going to know the college kids' names?
How many did we get? 5 or 6?
I think he got 6. Hold on. Let me see here. He's already
Jake
given up.
Retzloff?
Oh, no ding on that, by the
Okay.
way. No.
Cam Rising on there?
Cam Rising not on there, and how dare you? And on top of it, so I'll say this: Sam Levitt is number 11.
Oh,
So
he almost made the top 10?
Missed the list, yeah.
Congrats, Sam.
You missed a big quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier,
That's right, at LSU.
DJ Lagaway
Okay.
at Florida. Let me see here. You missed a couple big ones. Now, first, I should have probably said this does include even the this entire academic year. So Cooper Flagg is actually on the list.
Oh, I thought it was just football players.
No. No. Across
I could have thrown Cooper Flagg out.
You know who else you could have thrown in there? The only BYU Cougar on this list.
Oh, AJ
AJ DeBonsa's on the list.
Okay.
Just under $4 million, according to this. Jeremiah Smith is number. So you go 1 Arch Manning, 2 Cooper Flagg. Arch is 6.7, by the way. Guy hasn't done a freaking thing.
I know. Isn't
Why
that
not?
crazy?
That's Texas money right there.
Yep.
Cooper Flagg at 4.8, Carson Beck at 4.3, Jeremiah Smith at 4.2. AJ DeBonsa is number 5 on the list and the only basketballer on the list.
Outside of Cooper Flagg.
Oh, yeah. No, outside of Cooper Flagg. I'm seeing, again, I have this thing where I'm like, oh, I've
I
already
feel
moved on.
dumb. I didn't realize it included other sports. Livy
So-
Dunn was probably going to be on there if I had
So
knew it was all
Livy,
sports.
Livy Dunn is off the list now because I think because she was a 4 million.
Yeah.
She was a 4 million, but I think that now she's technically graduated, moved on, I guess. But Cooper Flagg, they still have him on the list, so I don't know.
Okay.
And AJ DeBonsa is not technically in high school yet, but I think because the money is
He's
college
already
money.
been making money.
I think because it's college money. No, that was the crazy thing is Alex and I looked at this list earlier, and there were actually high schoolers. There are high school kids who are making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Not
AJ
from-
was getting Red Bull. I mean, he's getting Red Bull money, right?
It's not just that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's
is
totally
there-
fine. Congratulations.
There's
Love
a
it.
kid that's 2.6, I think, in high school.
That's insane.
Yeah, and I'm like, where's he getting this money from? He's a Georgia commit, and so then I'm thinking, is it coming from Georgia? Jared Curtis.
Okay.
He's committed to Georgia, $2.6 million, high school money, out of Nashville Christian School. So there you go. I'm trying to find if there's any BYU commits on this on the football side of things from the high school side.
That'd be
Nope,
shocking.
you're just all Oregon's, USC's, LSU's, USC, Oklahoma, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina. Yeah, so there you go. Haven't seen any BYU guys show up on this one yet. But again, those are high school guys. Those are commits out of high school getting that money. All right, we'll take the break here. We'll come back. We've got more to go around the corner when we return. Hey, it's been a celebration day here in the state of Utah today as the Utah Mammoth are now the official name of the hockey team here. The NHL team is now the Utah Mammoth. The Utah Mammoth pre- and post-game host is Adrian Denny. He's going to join us coming up in just a little bit. We chatted with Mike Folty yesterday. I wonder if he had any idea that this was going to drop. We didn't.
I'm sure he did.
We didn't even get like a sprinkling of hey, I'd stay tuned tomorrow. I'd stay close to your radios tomorrow around 11 or around 8:30 a.m. Watch these announcements pouring.
He kept it
So,
close to the vest. I
there you go.
appreciate that.
Adrian Denny's going to join us next. We'll chat about that and some NHL playoffs as well. So stay here with us. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. Presented by G2G Bars. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're right out on the plaza out here outside of Delta Center, sandwiched between Delta Center and Broadcast House here in downtown Salt Lake City. One of my favorite places to be. I've done, I don't know, I'd say 50 of these outside of Broadcast House over the past 20 years. I love being out here, and on days like this, I've been out here in the cold. I've been out here in the extreme heat. This is perfect right now.
It's nice.
Am I wrong? Stone
This is
got
a
us
beautiful
Stone got us hooked
Utah
up.
day.
Yeah, Stone got us hooked up with the full coverage tents outside, and so like old man Kirry and me is like, the SPF is unbeatable right now in this tent. Just all the UV rays are getting blocked. I don't even need the sunscreen, bro. I have none of it getting to me. It's phenomenal. Welcome back to the program, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 VKSL Sports Zone. Our show brought to you, as always, by the good folks at G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. You can also go to Costco, Holiday Oil, Maverick, Associated Foods, and in all the retailers in the refrigerated section here in the state of Utah. They hand them out quite often, by the way, at these hockey games, because I think G2G and the Mammoth have a deal. See, that's the first real usage of not just saying, hey, the hockey team is now the Utah Mammoth. I actually refer to them as the Mammoth, and I'm going to do the same thing right now. Adrian Denny, he is the radio host of the Utah Mammoth pre- and post-game shows right here on your home of the Utah Mammoth, VKSL Sports Zone. Adrian, that all sounds right now, doesn't it?
I'll tell you, when I saw your guys' graphic on social media that I was the Utah Mammoth pre- and post-game host, that's when it really started to hit home.
Your name looks really nice there by that Mammoth logo, by the way, Adrian. Very nice.
I really liked it. Thank you, JJ.
So as we obviously rolling this thing out, it's been a year of waiting to see what the official name was going to be. There's that part of me that's always going to have that Utah Hockey Club first year, and certainly all the gear and everything. That's going to be a fun thing to remember. But now that it's got a team name and everything feels like, I was telling JJ this too, you have a press conference, Gary Bettman's there, great, you kind of roll this whole thing out. SEG must be just so excited now to just go, all right, now let's stop with all the administrative stuff. Let's get to hockey again, and let's get this team to the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, 4 rounds of public voting, over 850,000 people weighing in. It started with 20 options, went down to 6, went down to 3, reset to another 3, and Governor Ryan Smith saying today from the outset it was very clear that Mammoth was running away with it, and today made it official. And when I saw the video that the team did on social media, voiced by our very own Mike Folta at 8 a.m. this morning, I thought, yeah, this is us. This is Utah. This is just perfect.
Yeah, we're talking about branding right now, not what happens on the ice is what really matters. But branding does matter. You look around the league, you know this, you know hockey. You look around the league, and there's so many iconic brands in the NHL, and the way you look, your logo, your sweater, all that stuff matters, your colors. What is it about this look and about this name that you think really stands out and really gives this team a really solid identity to move forward with?
It started with the colors that they put together last offseason when we were going to go with Utah Hockey Club for the first season. The mountain blue, the salt white, the rock black, those 3 colors that now are the Mammoth colors. And they were so detailed on that logo. And I learned a new term today, which is Easter egg. And that means, hidden components that you can find in a logo. And you look at this Utah Mammoth logo, and it's got the state of Utah carved in right there. It's got an M for Mammoth right in the state. You can see the mountains right on top of it. And they took a little bit of what they did with the Jazz and mountain basketball and added it here, and that makes it even more special. And I love the colors. Thought they were perfect. They all 3 mean, stuff that signifies Utah. Salt white is the salt flats and the snow in the mountains. Mountain blue is signifying our Olympic sports, our winter sports history, the over almost 300 days of blue sky that we get here. I round up, and then you look at rock black. That's what our skies look like at night, especially in the mountains. So it's brilliant. You knew whatever it was going to be. It was going to be a perfect rollout, and it was going to be Utah, and it is.
I know that these, the players are like, that's great. Sometimes we just think that they go, yeah, that's awesome. Just, put me on the ice. I don't care what sweater I'm wearing. Like, I'm on this team, and I'm a part of this team. But that's what I was wanting to know is, like, do these guys look at it and they go, hey, you know what?
Look
One,
good, feel good, play good.
They love the colors, and like you were saying, the colors were the first rollout that were important, and they were going to stay. But now that with the Utah Mammoth, what have been the players' kind of reactions to the new team name and kind of rolling out this transitioning from the hockey club into the Mammoth?
It was so fun to have some of the players at the press conference today. The roommates, Jack McBain and Dylan Gunther, Ian Cole, Oli Mata, head coach Andre Cherney was there. Ryan Smith, I just saw him on the point on ESPN2 with Ashley Smith a few minutes ago with Steve Levy right before tonight's game that's going to be on with the Maple Leafs and the Panthers. And he said watching Dylan Gunther and Jack McBain just going through the team store for the first time this afternoon was a really fun experience. And the fans can see they unveiled the video to Jack McBain and Dylan Gunther earlier today with President of Hockey Operations Chris Armstrong, and they videotaped their reactions as they watched the video, and it was pretty fun.
As you kind of go through here now, like you said, I mean, they're focusing on the hockey part, and the real fun begins now with this team. That all the administrative stuff is out of the way. What excites you about watching the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs and then thinking about what this team can do in the future?
It's kind of like seeing how teams are built and how they kind of grow along the way. For instance, the Florida Panthers, they all of a sudden build a Stanley Cup contender. They had the best record in the NHL 4 years ago, and then they went to the Stanley Cup final, and then they won it. So you can just kind of see how teams are built. And what really hit me, it was in 2022 when the Avs won it, because watching how they built that team is Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar and Nico Rantanen, who's now with Dallas, obviously, as you just kind of watch them grow. They had a 16-win season, and then all of a sudden they're an instant playoff team, and then they're a contender, and then they're winning a cup. And what we saw with this team that was contending for a playoff spot in the first year, it came to Utah. One of the words that the general manager, Bill Armstrong, uses a lot is baked. And this team kind of came to Utah just about baked, ready to go, with a lot of cap space, with a lot of prospects that they can add to the top of what's pretty close to being baked, to being a playoff team every year, which is what Bill has said this week is our expectation for next year and moving forward.
The next big thing for the Utah Hockey Club is the NHL draft at the end of June. We were all stunned and shocked to watch them win the second draw in that lottery and move up 10 spots to number 4. Bill Armstrong called it a game changer. Why do you see it as a game changer, and why is that such a big deal? Obviously, we're not going to see that number 4 pick on the ice. I mean, who knows when we're going to see them. Maybe next year, maybe not, but why is that a game changer? Why is what happened Monday a game changer for this franchise?
So we went into the day, pretty content that we're going to get the 14th pick, right? Last year's lottery was all chalk. Everybody got where their records were. We were the third team to, be alive, built for playoff contention with Vancouver and Calgary, and went into it thinking, okay, 14th pick, it's going to be a good player. Here we go. And now all of a sudden, you got the 4th overall pick. You look at players on this team that you can compare that were drafted in the top 10. Logan Cooley was drafted 3rd overall. Barrett Hayton was drafted 5th overall. Clayton Keller was drafted 7th overall. Dylan Gunther was drafted 9th overall. So for the folks that watch the team this year, that's kind of what you look at with number 4. And then you've got Bill Armstrong, and he's a guy that looks at literally every single option. And he's talked for the last couple of years, when you have a lot of picks, you've got a lot of options. And, he's going to evaluate every single option, what's going to put the team in the best spot moving forward. He can draft the best player at 4th overall. That's a given. But there's other options that Bill can look at that now he has much more leverage than we didn't have going into the draft when we thought we was going to have the 14th overall pick.
Adrian Denny, Utah Mammoth pre- and post-game show
I
host.
love it when you say that.
It sounds crazy, right? It sounds crazy. Like, and I have to get used to it. I mean, frankly, I'm doing it just for the reps of making it sound like that. There are gonna be moments where my brain will just go straight back to the hockey club just because we got so used to it over that time. But it helps to stare at Delta Center while I'm saying this. We're right here on the plaza, and we're just staring right out at the and the only graphic. Sometimes they'll rotate through different concerts that are coming through. There's only one graphic up on the big screen out in front of Delta Center today, and it's helping us remember that it's Utah Mammoth now. So, with these NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, what have you liked so far about this? I mean, this is the most we've cared here about the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now I watch it with a very different angle. You start to look at it with a different vibe, because then you look and you say, hey, look at these Western Conference teams. One, how competitive they are, how difficult it is to be in this, even just in the second round of the playoffs, and what it takes to win a cup. I mean, it's insane. And it also seems extremely attainable for a team to be able to make inroads, to have a good enough leadership base, to also have a good enough youth or young core and a great scouting department, and all those things Utah already has. And yet, you look and you go, okay, they almost got there this year to the playoffs, but what have you liked about these Stanley Cup playoffs so far, and who do you like right now coming out of both of those different conferences?
Yeah, so the entertainment component, I think we went through a stretch where we had 5 straight days where at least one game went to overtime. We had 5 straight days where a team scored at least 4 or 5 goals. And then I look at those Game 7s in the Western Conference over the weekend from 4 teams in the Central Division. There's 7 teams in the Central Division. Utah is the 5th. Winnipeg and St. Louis went to 7 games. The Jets came from behind and won. Utah went 2-2 against the Jets, 2-2 against St. Louis, and then you had the Game 7 with the Avs and the Stars the night before, where we only beat those teams once each, but we played 3 straight one-goal games with Dallas before that, and basically the same with Colorado outside of a tough one in October. So I think it shows like how close you are. These teams are in Game 7 to advance to the second round, and you split with 2 of the 4. You played 1-goal games with Dallas, 3 1-goal games and beat them once, and essentially did the same with Colorado. So I think it just shows how close you are. But, gosh, it could use a 3 or 4 overtime game. And, it's always fun, 12-1 in the morning, to still have a game on, though I have enjoyed it because the NBA's been so good. So hockey gets over, and then you can switch over and watch the last 3, 4, 5 minutes of, like, Denver, Oklahoma City.
Great time here to be a sports fan. And, look, I love the NHL playoffs. I love the Stanley Cup playoffs, but I'm watching them differently because of the Utah Mammoth, and I'm wondering what would it be like for the Utah Mammoth to be a part of this? What would it be like for us and for our community to be a part of it? That is the dream and that is the goal, and they've got a lot of options to do that during this offseason. We'll have to see what Bill Armstrong does. But my question for you, Adrian, is if they're going to do that, one of the teams in the Western Conference playoffs has to drop out. Which team is it that gets bumped next year so Utah can find a place?
Well, St. Louis was the last team that qualified this year. The other wild card was,
Minnesota? Yeah.
Minnesota, yeah. So Minnesota started really hot, and then they just kind of backed into it. So I think those 2 teams being in the division, you look at them and be like, okay, those are our targets. Those are who we want to knock off. Remember, it was St. Louis who only made the playoffs because they won 12 games in a row. Minnesota backed in. Dominic Moore, our television analyst, was saying second half of the year, we need to go on a 7 or 8 game winning streak. Every team that makes the playoffs goes on a run like that. And here's a fun note about Dom, guys. Him and his 2 daughters and Mike Folta have already been to the Natural History Museum today to look at the Utah Mammoth.
They just put a sticker on it. Well, if you we were trying to do some JJ and I went to we got online and we started doing our full Wikipedia searches on what types of mammoth there were. It wasn't the woolly mammoth, very different.
than what you saw. The Utah Mammoth was a very was a different animal, at least, and they have found all sorts of evidence of these animals being here in Utah. Found a bunch of different bones in Orem. I mean, listen, there's all sorts of stuff we can get into, and my kids, of course, will probably come home from school and will have learned a lot about what this mascot means to the state. But Adrian Denny, he is no longer the Utah Hockey Club radio play-by-play voice. He is the Utah Mammoth.
I'm going to need the next 5 months to figure this out.
We all will.
Well,
how we're gonna welcome the folks to Hockey Night Utah. I will get it right. I promise.
I think by then we'll all have had the practice. Just do it in the mirror. That's what I did before I showed up to work today. I just said it in the mirror a few times, and that got me there most of the way. Adrian Denny, Utah Mammoth pre- and post-game host. Appreciate it, Adrian. We'll chat with you again, man. Thanks for being on the program.
Thanks, Adrian.
Yeah, tough stuff, guys. I appreciate it. Now we got to be experts on Mammoth, right? We're experts on the NHL, the NBA, Utah Mammoth, and now the prehistoric Mammoth that we're all experts on.
You know what else we have to do, Adrian? We got to become experts on the top 5 prospects in the draft. We got to start doing research on that.
I got to start studying.
Can't wait to dive in. It's a lot easier to do top 5 than top 14. That's
no doubt.
Given too.
Love it. Adrian, we appreciate it, man. We'll chat with you again. Adrian Denny, the Utah Mammoth pre- and post-game host. I like saying it. Sounds good. Sounds really good. Hey, our guy, Sly Sylvester, just showed up to the broadcast. You know what that means?
Nice of you to show up.
Listen, it was bonus points. Sly goes, I'll come down there and I'll start yelling about some NFL stuff.
He's got something that's grinding his gears. We're going to talk about it next.
I always love it when the texts that we get from Sly are in all caps.
With fire emojis.
Oh yeah. And then I have to go, and then I got one of my kids will be like, what did he say? I'll go, you actually can't read that.
That's private.
It's not family appropriate. Can't read those on the radio. Can't read them to my kids. Uncle Sly, he still likes football. He still loves the Steelers, I promise.
He'll be all right.
Even though his attitude shows that he still loves his team, okay?
That's what the passion.
That's all it is. All right, we'll take the break. We'll come back. We've got our NFL Blitz next. Sly's going to join us and stay here. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You know what that music means. The NFL Blitz. Brought to you by the good folks at Makey Couture. Oh, my goodness. It's limited time right now. You got to get this thing going. 50% off right now using the promo code ZONE50 in stores or online, MakeyCouture.com. That's essentially a 2-for-1 deal on your Makey Couture blankets. You got to go check it out. All right. The best Mother's Day gift ever. It's a Makey Couture. JJ, we've got a guest here. I'd say in studio, but we're outside. He made the trip, came downtown just to hang out with us.
I think he did more than want to hang out with us. He's got something that's grinding his gears.
I've got something I want to say, and I'm going to say it in person.
It's our lead story.
So I saw the news this morning that the Cowboys were trying to make a trade for George Pickens, and I went, that's hilarious. That'll never happen, because why would you do that if you're the Steelers? Shadur Sanders just put George Pickens and DK Metcalf on his Rushmore of great wide receiver and quarterback groups, even though they didn't have a quarterback to throw to him, now famously. Yeah. So George Pickens, Dak Prescott is skipping through the streets of Dallas today. Not the same.
Couple of years, he signed a big contract extension last year.
Not the same to be said for our own Sly Sylvester.
Oh yeah.
So, will you help me understand? All this is just adding up to the inevitable, which is the Aaron Rodgers signing to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Am I wrong?
The only logical thing here is, which is stupid, he's on a rookie contract. I don't know. I have absolutely no idea what is going on, but I woke up and, the first thing I do, besides taking number 2 is check my ESPN app.
TMI!
Sorry, I'm regular, JJ.
By the way,
congratulations.
By the way, Sly, you can do both of those at the same time.
As most of us do.
It's the beauty of technology nowadays. Okay.
Right? And so I check the ESPN app and I see this, and I'm just like, okay, all right, trade him. Go ahead. What did we get for him? A 3rd-round pick next year, and then 2 5th-round picks the year after? That's what you got for George Pickens? He's a guy on the rise? What? And so, I don't know if it's an attitude issue, why you just wanted to get rid of him, but nothing is making sense. You're ruining guys' careers. And what I mean ruining is you're leaving T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward, what all he wants to do is get back to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Minka Fitzpatrick, Joey Porter Jr.
If you were trying to get Aaron Rodgers and make it be an attractive place anyway, that's not going to help.
No assets? You got DK Metcalf. That's great. Triple team him.
Yeah.
You already don't got a proven offensive line.
And there's questions right now if DK Metcalf is still a number 1 in the league.
Right. So, I don't know. I mean, with both of those guys, you had dangerous threats on the outside. Yeah, you draft a great running back, and Jalen Warren's back there as well. You're doing good. Frymore seems compatible.
Yeah, one of the best tight ends in the game.
And it looks great. And now you just keep doing stuff like this, and I don't understand. Here's the thing is I've always questioned. There's always been a lot of stuff with the Steelers over the years, even when I played. I'm like, what are y'all doing? This is stupid. And then it works out.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm hoping for. I can see and be frustrated, but I'm just like, you have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. 1-year deals last year. Both of them seemed competent. Yes, Russell Wilson's last 6 games weren't great, but he can at least throw the ball, unlike Uncle Rico reincarnated Mason Rudolph.
Hey, come on.
Right? Uncle Rico with a chiseled jaw is what I call him.
I still think he's got some effects of when Myles Garrett hit him over the head with the
Oh, gosh. Right? And
if Mike Tomlin put him in, they'd take steak.
He's your quarterback. Oh, gosh. And then you go and get Ohio State's quarterback, unproven rookie guy. That's all you have on the roster.
It's not good.
To throw to a DK Metcalf or George Pickens. Now George Pickens is out. Here's the thing. As the players, you want the players to believe in what's going on. You're doing stuff like this. How am I going to believe that we're going to have success in the AFC North with no weapons? Make it make sense. And so, yeah.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Here's what makes sense is Mike Tomlin was done with his BS. So there's been some off-field conduct, some inconsistent performance.
With George Pickens?
Mike Tomlin essentially fired him and sent him out of town. This is Mike Tomlin's call.
He'll do that.
Oh,
yeah, I know.
So
for sure.
Knowing the culture in Pittsburgh, which is great, what the Steelers are known for, are you okay with that, knowing that that because of those reasons?
The only reason – here's the thing is I know the Steelers –
Does that make it easier for you to take?
I know the Steelers – well, first of all, we've had issues with receivers if you guys haven't checked the Steelers.
Oh,
history.
you're serious? Really?
Plaxico Burress, Antonio Holmes, Antonio Brown, you freaking name it. We have Martavis Bryant or Martavis
Bryant, yeah.
You name it. Our receiver room it's just notorious.
Wild.
But here's one thing. If the Steelers did make that decision, that wasn't like, oh, you just showed that and you're gone. They've given you multiple opportunities to correct it or done something, or they got investigators that's seen something that could be coming up that we don't know, where they're just like, let's get ahead of this by getting this guy out of here before we can't in the future. And so I think that, they're logical with that, and they're big on culture. And my thing is just like you're talking about culture, and you wanted to bring in a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who's all about himself
right now. Yeah,
and so
it seems to be getting worse about it.
But you've left yourself with that. You did nothing in free agency, nothing in the draft, and you've left yourself with only Aaron Rodgers. And that just doesn't seem like the Steelers' MO. You let Justin Fields go. You let Russell Wilson go. Those are quarterbacks who can throw the ball, no offense, have NFL experience. As Skylar Thompson, Mason Rudolph, it just doesn't get me giddy.
Yeah.
Right?
And you're wasting Prime Cam Hayward and T.J. Watt.
I mean, Prime Cam Hayward is probably down.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But he still can
still one of the best tackles in the league,
right?
Exactly.
So my deal is you're wasting those guys. And as a Steeler fan, I'm upset at that.
Well, while we got you here, the other topic that has been a big story today is Cam Rising officially medically retiring. I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts on his career. Where does he rank for you among Utah quarterbacks? What's his legacy now that his football years are officially over and now he's going to go into coaching?
Man, well, I love Cam Rising. I think he's a great personality, what he's done for Utah, and his story. Just his story of, transferring here. He was at Texas, transferring here, played a year under Tyler Huntley, COVID, got injured in that shortened season with Jake Bentley, and then came back great and was behind Charlie Brewer. And then that San Diego State game, I'm telling you, that was probably, I like that better than the Pac-12 championships, than everything. That game against San Diego State, I know we lost, but when he came into the game and what he did for the team, I can never forget that.
Yep.
And so I think there was a lot of Utah fans that feel that same way about Cam. There's great moments that he provided us that we'll take forever.
Yeah.
And so I absolutely loved him as a Ute. This actually sucks. A lot of people were always questioning his injury. You can't question this. He's literally has 2 years of eligibility, I believe, that he could potentially stretch. And he can't play anymore because of his hand with multiple physicians.
What's crazy is that's the thing that ended up being the thing that, and I actually
of all the injuries, that's the one.
So I went back and I watched I watched this again today, where I'm like, oh my gosh, a guy. I know that everybody's like, hey, he's got to take care of himself. It's like, yeah, but he got hit late into that bench by the Baylor defender, and
he's got to take care of himself. What does that mean?
They're like, he can't run that ball. And I'm watching it again, and as I'm watching it, I'm going, oh my gosh, this guy took advantage of, hey, let me tackle this dude into the Gatorade stuff, and his lineman showed up and pushed a couple of people around, but and he gets up and it looks pretty innocuous, right? He gets up and he just kind of goes like this, and he pulls on the finger and kind of goes, I'll figure this thing out, and his career ended on that play.
Yeah.
That's insane to think.
No idea
that
what the
moment,
nerve damage or
the ligament stuff. All the
he
things
literally
that go on
can't
there.
grip a football.
Can't grip a football.
That's crazy. Yeah, so he came out and he kind of was doing this thing where he's like, just trying to get his finger going, and then obviously to have something like that happen is awful. But like you said, I think the legacy part that he leaves, that's the thing people are going to remember. They're going to remember kind of the good times, and I think that Utah obviously has a lot to look forward to. We were talking about this earlier too, and when you and I chatted about it a couple weeks ago, it was like, I bet it's not going to take very long for people to look at Utah and go, no, they're going to be back on the rise again. Because last year was just that kind of little bit of a throwaway. Mm-hmm. It's that outlier. And sure enough, all the rankings and stuff that we've seen recently have Utah creeping up. Because how could you keep that program down?
That
and from everything we've seen with, and then you have this idea too to go, hey, Devin Dampier's the real deal. When people watch him in that spring game and they go, dude's electric. There's a different level of athlete that you get from him. So I know
and
that
I like his
his
leadership so far too.
And
that stands out as well.
Yes, and he talks about it. He talks about going, I'm going to go recruit some guys. Like that
sounds like
it's a big deal.
You're number one.
He's bought in.
Like everything about him says number one guy.
Well, yeah. I mean, my biggest thing too is I don't want to hear from the horse's mouth. I want to hear from everybody else around.
Yeah.
I want to hear from the ducks and the gooses and the crocodiles. What do they think about the horse that's drinking from the water right there? And so all I have heard from all of the new guys that have come in is they have been great. There's no narcissistic, like, oh, I make money. There's none of that, which is awesome. And if you can have that in a locker room, in everybody believing in this mission, man. And honestly, me watching practices this spring, me going to the spring game, it is so hard to judge this offense because our defense is so good. And I just remember back when I was playing, which was a long time ago, Sam, that our offense couldn't do anything against us. But when we go out there on Saturdays, they put up points, averaging 35, 40 points a game. But against us, they couldn't do it. And so this defense is just amazing, right? And so we get in a competent offense to be able to put in some yards, be able to hold the ball away from the opponent, and then you can have the defense that where you can put in your ears back and go get them. That's going to win us football games. And at the end of the day, that's all Utah fans, that's all I want, is some W's in the win and loss column. And so I'm very much looking forward to that. I know this offense needs a lot more time.
They need more firepower at the receiver positions. I'm very concerned about that.
You know what, though? Speaking of receiver positions, I just read a story about how your guy, Alan Lazard, might be showing up to play for the Steelers if Aaron Rodgers works out. So, look, the wide receiver thing just got better for you.
Who? Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb.
Was Randall Cobb going to come out of retirement?
Who's coming out next from Green Bay? You know what I hate about this is I lost my Super Bowl to Aaron Rodgers and these idiots.
Right.
And now you guys want to bring them in to our facility?
And these idiots.
I was upset at that. That's probably why I really don't want him.
That's probably you're not over it. I get it.
I'm not. No, the way we lost.
from you.
Oh my gosh, I hate it.
Take it with you to the afterlife.
Right.
It's fine. I'm okay with it. All right, let's take a break. Are you good to stay around for some best and worst as well? Because I do have an NFL bit of news here for you as well.
Do you feel this weather?
It's amazing.
Why are we even inside?
Why
I didn't even know there was light. How dark it is in the studio.
I know. That's
it's
one
nice
thing.
to be outside today. It's
That's
beautiful.
one thing with the new studio is no windows except for to look in at our producer Alex. That's the only window that we have.
It's a
All
dark
right,
place.
We'll take the break here. We'll come back. Sly will join us for this final segment of the hour. Stay right here, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
Best and worst right here on your program, brought to you by the good folks at the Doug Smith Family of Dealerships, American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden. Basically all the car brands that you enjoy, brought to you by the good folks at Doug Smith. Nobody knows cars like Doug. Let me see here. Sly, nice enough to hang around here for an extra, I don't know, some bonus Sly. No problem with bonus Sly.
I'm just using you guys so traffic dies down.
We're all waiting.
You just said you got back from vacation. Where'd you go?
Hawaii.
Okay.
Hawaii. You know what sucks? I hate myself. You're supposed to go on vacation to relax. I just can't relax. I just can't. I was like, oh, we got to do this. We got to do that.
I'm that guy, too. My family hates it.
It wasn't until the last day where I'm like, I didn't even relax out here. What the heck am I doing?
Hey,
but
Alex,
you got to see a lot of cool stuff.
Alex, our producer, get that drop. You know what? I hate myself.
But he does love the promise of BYU basketball.
He does love the promise of BYU basketball. You know what? I hate myself. That is going to be a classic one going forward. Hey, speaking of former names here in the state of Utah, former Utah State sharpshooter Sam Merrill continues to live his NBA dream. He had his playoff career high last night in a Game 2 loss against the Pacers. Sam Merrill has been
consistent.
Is he the biggest shock to you in terms of a guy who just went, oh, I'm not just going to do like the European route. I'm going to stay on not just a couple of rosters here and there. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to keep shooting the friggin' lights out. The guy just continues to carve out a place for himself wherever he goes, man.
Not shocked because he was a stone-cold killer in college.
Yes.
Now, you know, there's been a lot of great players in this state that couldn't quite make it in the NBA for whatever reason. He's got that killer mentality, and he can make those big shots, and he can get up in those big moments. And he's also underrated as an athlete. He's got good size. He's 6'4", 6'5" in that range. So he had all the things he needed, and he just can shoot the lights out.
Right.
He's got an NBA skill as a shooter, but he can do a lot more things. He can defend better than people give him credit for. So didn't surprise me. It's a credit to him to fight, right? So a lot of guys just say, I'll go to Europe and give up the fight, but he went the G League route, and he fought and he fought and he waited and he waited. and he got that chance, but he had that killer instinct that once he had that opportunity, he wasn't going to let it go, and he's done that in Cleveland. So it's awesome to see him be successful. One of the great athletes the state's ever produced.
I like that. I have to agree with you, JJ. I think it's a mentality thing, right? You look at these Michael Jordans, Kobe's, all these people that's had success, Tom Brady's, whatever. It's how they approached it mentally, right, that overcame. Everybody's got talent, right? There's so many guys on the street that should be in the NBA or in the NFL, but they didn't have the right mentality. Some instance – but there's just nothing to deter a guy like Sam Merrill, right? Like, okay, sit me on the bench. Okay, make me go to G League. Okay, whatever. I know that I'm doing this, and any opportunity I get, I'm going to crush it. And that's exactly what he's done, man, to now the point where he's on the best record in the NBA. Oh, no. Cleveland was the second best record in the NBA.
Best in the East. Yep,
best in the East. But just a key consistent contributor on that basketball team.
Yeah, he broke into the rotation this year.
Hey, are you guys familiar with the Sherman Antitrust Act?
Is that Sharman?
This sports talk radio show took a weird turn.
The Sherman Antitrust Act. It's going to start to take a little bit of focus right here. There is a lawsuit right now where a fan is suing the NFL, citing violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act, which he calls collusion among NFL teams during the draft. He's suing the NFL for $100 million for the pain and suffering of Shedeur Sanders' slide in the NFL draft from a psychological standpoint. And he said, and here's what my favorite part is. In the lawsuit, the plaintiff, known only as John Doe in the paperwork, cited or said, quote, "I'm a dedicated fan of the Colorado Buffaloes." Well, there's where he went wrong. And by the way,
did he also use the phrase bull junk?
This is, by the way,
hey, that's Deion Sanders.
This is the first time as a Colorado Buffaloes fan that you're going to cite pain and suffering. It's not the last. And I'll tell you what, if you're a Shedeur Sanders fan and you're now attached to the Cleveland Browns,
oh gosh,
a whole lifetime of lawsuits.
You might as well just give it up.
So he says, quote, the plaintiff claims that reports of leaked statements suggesting that Sanders had tanked interviews, wasn't prepared, too cocky in pre-draft processes, helped form the narrative that had him as a fan unjustly harmed. The reputation of Shedeur Sanders also says that, quote, slanderous statements, emotional distress, and trauma that the plaintiff as a fan and a consumer has look. I think
I'm surprised I don't hear any financial liability. Like, I bet on this and it didn't work out.
Wasn't even that.
None of that.
He's just an offended fan.
No. Pain and suffering. $100 million. $100 million.
First of all, he has no leg to stand on.
Well, I think that goes without saying, but I still love it.
But I mean,
does he know how many lawyers the NFL has?
The problem is like you took the time to file this.
You're not winning this lawsuit.
That's great. I mean, well, it's getting attention. Put it that way. But like,
yeah, but at least, hey, John Doe, put your name out there. Put your name on this, son. Come on.
I just wanted to see what came across the NFL's face when they seen this. Like, what type of laugh did they have?
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm sure they get sued for all kinds of stuff, and you're coming out for this.
Hold on. There's more.
What?
Yeah, this is what else he's requesting. Aside from the $100 million, in addition to $100 million,
season tickets to Browns
plaintiff is actually requesting, quote, a formal acknowledgement from the NFL regarding emotional distress. There you go.
Okay.
A retraction of the slanderous statements about Shedeur Sanders. With an apology and any harm caused to his reputation. I don't know. Brian Daboll for going, remember when you showed up?
Is this Deion Jr. that put this out?
Right.
It probably is. Implementation of the fair practices in the drafting process to ensure talented players are recognized and given opportunities based on merit. Okay, thanks. Merit, by the way, he was 13-12 as a starting quarterback in college. Is that
right?
I hope this guy's a lawyer so he doesn't have to pay
any additional remedies that the court deems appropriate. I love how it's like, give me $100 million plus all these other apologies, plus any other compensatory damages you might see fit in all of this. Thank you. Appreciate it.
P.S. I'm willing to sell outside court.
Yeah.
$20.
Fine. Yeah, fine. Fine. I'll take $100 million. Fine. I'll take 10. It's fine. All right.
What an idiot.
All right. Sly, thanks for hanging out this hour, man. We appreciate it.
Man, thank you guys, man. I mean, anytime I get a chance to drop in, I'm here.
I love it. Okay. I'll take the break here. We'll come back. Got more to go around the corner. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.